And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your
We are the last Americans. We are the last Americans. We are the last
Yo, Happy New Year.
Hello, everyone.
Greg.
Hip, 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 hooray.
Good day. It's a good day.
It is a good day.
It's a new year day.
Brand new year.
Fresh.
My son's birthday today.
Yes, it was your birthday. Happy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Van turned 6 today.
6 years old.
Dang, dude. Happy birthday, Van.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool. We you guys came over last night and we did what near 40-year-olds do and sat around the kitchen and ate. And then at midnight, we celebrated and then also congratulated your son on his birthday as well. So it was like a double whammy, dude.
It was.
It's pretty sweet.
Hell yeah. So you guys stayed up until midnight?
Oh, yeah.
1 o'clock. We were up until 1.
Right on.
A lot of
yeah,
fireworks.
we actually made it. We made it like just past midnight. We're like, okay, midnight, let's go to bed, kids.
Oh.
Because all the kids were passed out
No,
on the couch.
the
so we had to,
little
like, wake
kids,
'em up.
Oh.
the little kids were like
They were jacked.
crazy amped
They
up
were
last
amped,
night.
bro.
Oh, shit. Okay.
They were like, Drew was running around like she had just took cocaine.
Yeah.
And she was
Okay.
just like, oh, yeah, let's go.
Her,
Oh, yeah.
her,
2-year-old on cocaine.
yeah, her and Sadie were like watching Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas when they were tripping balls, dude. They were like delusionally
They're on that
weird.
adrenochrome drip.
Yeah, it's weird stuff, dude.
Oh,
But
boy.
we had some neighbors. I wouldn't even call them neighbors, but they were close by, and they were like insane
Oh, yeah.
fireworks, dude. Like just nonstop. And so we got to see some cool fireworks, and it was good. It was good. And then we had the birthday party today for Van, which was really nice, and
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun, man. Had a lot of cake, a lot
Hell
of,
yeah.
lot of food, a lot of snack foods.
Yeah.
The past couple days, you know what I mean?
Indeed. Yeah, I went to, like, I had a stomach ache when I woke up because I had, like, a bunch of freaking snack food. We went to the gym studio thing again.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it was just, like, a bunch of food. Stuffed mushrooms.
Ugh.
Stuffed
Oh, yeah.
mushrooms? Like
Okay.
stuffed
Oh, yeah.
with what?
Like cheese, bacon.
Okay.
That kind of stuff.
I'm getting into the mushrooms. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I would probably try it. I would never have tried that before, though.
Yeah, and they're cooked. Like, they're baked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you bake it.
Well, anyways.
So,
Happy
yeah.
New Year's to everybody.
Happy
Yeah.
New Year. Yeah. I mean, did you guys see Green Day? Doesn't want
Yep.
to be a part of this MAGA agenda.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, for their New Year's show. How
Oh,
original.
did
Yeah,
they?
they changed their lyrics, dude.
Yeah, they changed it to they don't want to be a part of the MAGA
It's
agenda.
the
Then
don't want
leave.
to be an American idiot, but
Yeah.
they changed it to the MAGA idiot. Okay.
Dude, we reacted to their new video a couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
and it's just I'm just not a fan of them. I know that they're like been around and they are what they are, but I just am not. I'm not other than Dookie. I just don't give a shit about them. I really don't.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like them. There's a couple, like, right before, up until Nimrod, that's like the last album that I liked of theirs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they have just gotten way too political for my taste.
yeah. It's not for me. It's not for me. And honestly, I think their music's just not as good. Like the new stuff, I just don't like. Me and Chris did the video. And I think people in the comments were actually decent because we were both like, it's just not as good as the old shit. It's just not very good. And people are like, this is the best, man. Like, what are you talking about? It's just not. It's not as catchy. It's like you're right. It's politically driven, almost exclusively politically driven, and it's just kind of annoying now at this point. You know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I wouldn't mind it if they weren't so one-sided. Like, it's like, talk shit about Biden too. Green Day. Come on.
well, and that's easy to do, right? Like that shouldn't be hard
Yeah.
for you to do.
How about just
Don't
go
fall
back
down the stairs,
How about just
Biden.
go
No.
back to singing about getting high and jerking off in your living room?
Yeah, that's true.
That's when they were good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Or going to an insane asylum.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
being
when
insane.
that's when they were their best. So
Yeah.
just do that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, hopefully everybody has a good start to the new year, and hopefully this is a good year that everybody can do what they want and have a maybe career changes or I don't know, have kids. Who knows?
Well, Japan's
Well-
not starting off too well.
Oh, I know.
God
dude.
damn, they
you see that
celebrated
shit?
with an earthquake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, do you see
Yeah.
all that damage? And like I
Yeah.
saw there was one video on TikTok where like the cement, the bricks were just like
Yeah.
Oh, really?
like
Yeah.
bubbling.
yeah.
Well-
Bubbling?
No, so they were if you actually watch that video, the sidewalk was shifting to the left and it was pushing the bricks. And so they were popping up and popping back down.
Oh.
It looked like it was bubbling, but if you
Yeah.
actually look at it, the sidewalk was actually shifting.
Yeah, I seen one video where you could actually, because they had like a long range view of like the ground, and you could see the fucking with the waves just going.
Yeah, there was another video where a bunch
crazy.
of houses collapsed. Man, there was like a CCTV video, and the houses you could see them just start falling in the background and smoke coming up. It was a big one, dude. 7.6, I think, is what it was, and that's a big earthquake, man.
Yeah,
lots of tremors
I think
too.
the one,
I think like 80
California,
80 tremors.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, first of all,
Like
Japan,
like
dude.
the alien things in the ground.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
worms.
dude. Kevin
80
Bacon
worms.
called in.
Yeah. Yeah, you got worms, baby. But it's Japan. And so like Japan gets earthquakes, man. Like,
Yeah.
obviously 7.6, pretty big one, but like
The one that had that huge tsunami a few years ago was like a 9.
that was a big one. That was a huge one. California got an earthquake today as well.
Did they?
It did.
Yes, they
LA,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, it was like a 4.1 or 4.6 or something like that, or something in that ballpark.
Mm,
Which, you know, again, California. Like,
yeah.
But isn't that weird? Like, it's the first day of the new year, ominous signs.
And the
Yeah.
world
Isn't
just
that-
the world's
that's
just
like a trend.
The world's just shaking things up,
Yeah. well, do
shaking
you think it's
things
gonna
up
be
a
like
bit for the
trend?
new year.
yeah. Maybe
Like
they
the
need
climate
to
change is going to be happening.
shake the reality back into California is what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, let's get some common sense back here. Just shake them up a little bit, you know? I don't know. I mean, it sucks. You have a good night. You're up late. You're probably, how many hungover people are dealing with an earthquake? You know, you're already
I don't know.
a little sick to the stomach, and then you're.
Well, I mean, Japan. I mean, are they on our New Year?
No.
I'm kinda
They're
ignorant with that stuff.
like a day ahead or something.
Well, they have like their own. I don't know if they have their own
Calendar, right?
Kind of New Year
oh,
thing.
I don't know.
Like the Chinese New Year.
Yeah,
but
see, I think it's Chinese
that's
New Year.
China.
Well, that can't be true because Hong Kong and Tokyo both did a fireworks show for their New Year. So I mean, they must
Okay.
have.
So they're on the Gregorian calendar.
I mean, I'm sure that they have another calendar, but I think the general public is probably on the norm. So, but yeah, I mean, it's sad, dude. I'm sure people lost their lives, which is terrible, and I'm sure people lost their homes. And there's a lot of video of like children eating at restaurants.
They still
and
do the New Year like on January 1st, like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Japan does,
Yeah,
but Chinese have like their own like Chinese New Year.
I know, but
and they also
Yeah.
do because Hong Kong had a fireworks show. We watched it last.
yeah, but we weren't talking about China. We were talking about Japan.
Yeah, but he said Chinese New Year, like Greg did.
Oh,
So who knows? Everybody celebrated.
Anyway,
Everybody celebrated.
it's true.
it's a new year. The sun is born again.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
The sun
That's
is
what
born
we're looking
again.
at.
But yes, we actually, there's a few topics that I would like to get into, a couple different ones, if you guys don't mind. First of all, we can make it a little bit quicker because it's not really anything super big, but Chris, when we were here for the party earlier, you kind of said it's official. I don't know how official it is,
Oh,
but Bill Clinton, obviously.
yeah.
is
Well, it's not
one of the does.
official yet. I don't think, because I don't think the documents have actually come out yet. I think they're coming out like Wednesday or Thursday or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
They could be coming out tomorrow. That's what I heard.
Oh.
Starting on the 2nd.
because
yeah.
there's a bunch of people, and even like Breaking 911 and all those are reporting that Bill Clinton is John Doe 36 in the documentation.
Mhm.
And that's part of what's going to be released tomorrow.
My question to you guys would be, are you surprised by that? Because I'm not. Obviously, I think Clinton is the easiest one to assume is on there.
Well, and
Right?
dude, like honestly, like just to take a step back and just say who are these names that are being
Mhm.
revealed?
Mhm.
It's not like the client list. It's like the names that were redacted in the court documents, right?
Well, some of it's not the full client list, but it does have clientele and people that he met with regularly on that list, along with victims and other people.
Exactly, yeah, because that's what I heard was kind of the holdup is the victims were saying, I don't know if I want my name out there because
Yeah.
you got some underage victims and stuff.
Yeah.
But it will be very interesting if Bill Clinton is tied to those underage victims.
Yeah.
Yes. Is that something that they're going to release though?
If he's
That
tied to people,
to them?
I don't know.
Or
Well,
is
so
it just-
because the court documents are already released, so all you'd have to do is go back and put in the reference of instead
The
of
John
John
Doe,
Doe
yeah,
36,
you
you put
enter
in
his
Bill
name
Clinton
now.
did X to Y.
I get you.
yeah, that could
You know,
turn
you plug
it.
in the names.
That could be bad.
Well, listen, I always think it's going to be, and then I just feel like it just kind of gets swept under the rug, dude. You know,
Or it's a big letdown anyway.
yeah, because you kind of were saying right before we started, when we were talking about having this discussion, you're just like, what's going to happen? I mean, I just don't know. Like, we already know Bill Clinton has ties, and he's denied
Yeah.
some of them, but And they were saying it's like 50 times, 60 times that he's been
Yeah,
on the plane.
but the problem has always been getting the proof. And now with this being released as he is John Doe 36, and now you can tie his name to all the things that's mentioned in.
Yeah,
that would
Exactly.
be the exact proof that you would
Okay,
need
but
to do something.
Yeah, because it says right here, John Doe is mentioned more than 50 times, like Dave was saying, in the redacted filings, mostly with the lawyers of Virginia Guffrey. And
Okay.
Virginia Guffrey, if you guys remember, was the main one who came out saying
Yeah.
there was sex trafficking rings happening.
Yeah.
And Bill
Yeah.
Clinton was part of it.
Mhm.
And now you're going to get this kind of solidified proof here.
Well, see, here's my question: how long have they known? Okay, so they're releasing the names.
Mhm.
How long has the courts had the names?
Probably a long time. But the court itself can't really do much. It has to be released. So then, like the lawyers and people and the
Okay, so
like,
take the courts out. FBI. You know,
they're not going to go after their own people, bro.
I know, but what would be, I think, the most
No, I think-
upsetting to me is that if they knew it was Bill Clinton for a long time and they had the proof that it was Bill Clinton,
Mhm.
like, why do we need to have it released to the public before they actually go arrest him and say that you're a part of this crime?
Well, are they going to arrest him?
Probably not.
Because the way that I look at it is like, if they were going to arrest his ass, they would have just came out with his name and arrested him instead of
That's
being
what
like,
I'm
"Are you
saying,
okay with us letting out your name?" And
But
all
that's
that
what I'm saying, though. If you were looking at an investigation, right, like police investigation or like a murder situation or fraud situation, they're not going to say like, okay, we got Bill Clinton. Okay, Bill Clinton's part of this. Okay, don't do anything yet. We have to release the public first. Like they're going to go take him down, put him in custody, have a discussion with him with his lawyers, and say, hey, your name is popping up all over this fucking thing. And like, why has that not been done? And that really annoys me.
It probably has been done in like closed doors. And I'm just like speculating here.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's where you get the compromised individuals and you get the details that,
Yeah.
you have a big sting operation and you kind of go down the ladder or up the ladder.
Unless they're at the point now where they're releasing this because they're already past that stage of it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's no longer an open case. Right.
Yeah, sure. I think that's possible. It's just, I don't know. I feel like with like the political game, like if that was a thing that was coming and they knew it was coming, right? Like Hillary knew it was coming. Her husband's this guy who's going to be on this list, right? She's still in the limelight to some extent. She still puts herself out there. Why would you not try to tackle this and be the one to put it out so that you can kind of dictate the path it's going to go down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Because she
so
could
Miss
have
Cupcake says the statute of limitations is probably expired on the people they're going to release on the list. So it's like,
I don't know if there is.
So that might be the case, but God dang, I read something about that situation where they said that they could actually extend it or it could be extended. And I don't remember for what. So,
well, maybe that's why they're trying to make a big deal about all these earthquakes, Like Dave said, that earthquakes happen all the time in Japan.
Sure, absolutely.
They happen all the time in Southern California. So it's like they're trying to have anything to clog the news cycle that they can. So it makes me wonder, like, is there going to be something dangerous that happens tomorrow? Is there going to be something that we should all watch our backs about?
Yeah, there was a mass shooting yesterday, too.
Where at?
I don't remember.
It's like, yeah, stuff like that I worry about, like.
I don't
hide
know.
your kids, hide your wife.
I think...
okay, so real quick, I don't mean to interrupt you. I just saw this article from 2019, so a couple years back, obviously, but it says, and this is actually the Epstein indictment and statutes of limitation. Okay. It says, although the default federal statute of limitations for non-capital crimes is 5 years, which would explain that it's too late now, Congress has made numerous exceptions. In 2006, it eliminated the statute of limitations entirely for child kidnapping and child sex trafficking per constitutional case law. So, I mean, maybe that they could actually go, because if it's a trafficking case or somebody that was taken, without their will of doing it, like maybe they could do something like that. But I mean,
yeah, you could always twist it. You could always twist it and make it a way that it is investigatable.
Yeah.
And like, you can extend it.
To be honest with you, I'm sticking to my saying that I've had for a long time. He's he's old as fuck. You know, he's close to his deathbed, I think. Him going to jail would be gratification for all of us, right? To see him actually go into jail, go to prison. But at the end of the day, if you actually have concrete proof, even if there is a limitation and they can actually arrest him, if they can prove that he is guilty, I'm hoping that that's enough of a shift that gets people to go like, well, I mean, yes, he's not in jail, but he is guilty. Like, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
He's named, it's proven. And maybe that's enough of a shift for people to start to, see that the Epstein thing was a lot bigger than maybe some people thought it was, or that there were bigger figures involved with it.
Well,
Not
I
only
think
that, but just like the people that were involved with it, can you trust them anymore?
true.
You know, like, do
Yes.
you really want to spend $100,000 to have Bill Clinton come speak at your
Or Bill
convention
Gates.
now? Or Bill Gates or whoever,
Yeah.
you know? And that's
Well,
what we were kind of saying with The Rock,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
if The Rock's on that list,
Yeah.
oh boy, it's going to be weird.
And I think,
yeah, but
I think also, especially, even if there is no path to get Bill Clinton, if it's been too long or what,
Sure.
which I can't imagine, like, there has to be something that can be done. But even if it is past that time, you can't go after Bill himself
Mhm.
for like the exact things that were done in the documents that are already released. Doesn't that, because if he's comes out as he was actually a part of this, can you not now investigate weird things that have happened since then?
yes, you can. But the question would be, did he do a bunch of shit with Epstein? And then after that, like, hey, you better lay low, bro. Like, this is, you're going to get your, and so did he stop? Because obviously he got older. You know what I'm saying? He's less frisky. You know what I mean? Like, he's just an old guy. He's old.
Dude, I don't know about less frisky. Have you seen
Well-
him with the Ariana Grande on stage? Looking
Yeah,
around,
yeah.
listening,
Well,
"Oh,
see,
yeah."
that's
Oh,
that's
bubble butt,
80-year-old
baby.
wild eyes. You know what I'm saying?
Old
like
wild eyes.
old wild eyes, man. Like when you're 80, you tend to just your eyes drift towards the
Well,
hot girls.
what about
you know?
the unscheduled, it was the tarmac meeting
Sure.
meeting with Loretta
Sure.
Lynch.
Sure.
Loretta
Oh,
Lynch.
yeah.
Well,
That was not
He
long
did that
ago.
several years ago.
sure. And I to me, what I think is the most likely outcome would be if he is, so if he can't be charged, if he's named and the public knows, can she, like the victim, actually pursue a civil case against the Clintons, right? Could they fucking bankrupt his ass? You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
so that's something that I looked up, and I think Virginia Guffrey might have dropped her case.
Mm.
This was like right
Against
after
who?
that whole thing
Epstein?
came out, right?
Are you talking about
What?
against Epstein?
Against Bill Clinton, against this whole Epstein thing. Like she just like let it go.
Oh.
So it was happening because remember that short-haired brunette? She came out. She was pretty attractive looking, but she came out saying like she was abused as a younger girl.
Kind of.
I can't remember her name, but she was like in the news a lot.
Yeah.
And as soon as she came out saying, yeah, I was, part of this whole Epstein thing, Virginia Guffrey just dismissed her case or something. Like she just let it go.
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up here.
Well, I don't. So even if she let it go, like, I don't know what the case was exactly for. You know what I'm saying, or who it was exactly against. And if it's his name on there, like, and it's out in public, would she be willing to go after him? Because listen, if he's gonna not go to jail, I would love to see them bankrupt. Because Hillary
it was
would fall.
against it was against Alan Dershowitz.
Okay, so
So
what I'm
she
saying
dropped
is,
the allegations.
sure, so she could go after Clinton, right?
Sure.
And like the support for that would probably be a lot better for her, knowing that he actually is, John Doe 36.
Well, any attorneys could go after him, especially since he was a sitting president.
Mm.
You could almost do it on behalf of the American people.
Was he at the time? Was this during his time? I can't remember, honestly.
I don't know. You'd have to go back and probably date check a lot of
Yeah.
the accusations.
Yeah, I don't know if it was, but dango. I'm sure
Yeah.
he did some stuff that,
Oh man,
Yeah.
if they could find out that there was anything like in the White House, like I would be looking at all those times that Epstein visited the White House.
Oh yeah.
Who was he with? Check the logs. Who did he come with? What were they
well,
having
what about
discussions
Hillary?
about?
She was
Exactly.
Secretary of State
Exactly.
true.
Yeah.
during the Obama administration.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
did he do anything during then? And
Actually,
did Hillary
Yeah.
go there?
Yeah.
one of the first comments on one of the I think it was like the Breaking 911 post or something about it was where's Hillary? Is she mad?
Yeah.
Yeah, is she going to divorce Bill now?
No.
She was in on it for sure.
Yeah. I said that earlier. I was like, I could just see her looking at Bill and being, "You're an embarrassment. Like you've ruined everything, you know, because I think she's more schemy than Bill. Bill's just dumb.
Probably.
He like thinks with his dick. Hillary tries to think with her head, you know, but it's, you know, she's the one that seems more conniving to me than Bill. Bill's just a horn dog, dude.
It'll be very interesting to see the public reaction, like to some of the. I'm interested to see what all names are actually gonna come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danielson brings up Jimmy Carter. You think they're going to come out with his death in the news?
Yeah, maybe, but
Who knows?
who cares? Like, honestly, like if
I
he
know.
died, most people would be like, who? You know, like I think a lot of people remember Jimmy like, older, but most people are like, oh, he's so old that like it's not shocking. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, what, he
Yeah.
died? What? Holy shit.
But the news would still use that as a week-long excuse to
Yeah, I mean,
only focus on that.
sure. You know, sure. I mean, how much can you run on it? Because even the Feinstein thing, like that, remember when everybody's like, oh, they're going to use her death as this big. I mean, come on, man. Like the news still happened. Like her thing lasted a flash in the pan. And they were everybody was saying, not just you, Greg, but people were saying like they're going to use this as the cover for something.
A president, I'm just saying, a president gets a week-long thing and, you know, they make a big deal when a president dies.
I mean,
It's true.
It's been a long time since, I think, was Nixon the last one? Or was it? No, it was George Bush Sr.
yeah.
Yeah, it was Bush Senior.
And the letters. What if there's another letter? The envelopes?
I don't know, dude.
Dango.
I mean,
And will
nobody ever,
Trump go?
nobody really ever found out what was on those for sure.
No.
No, it was all speculation.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks they know, and they're like, when they tell you what it is,
I mean,
they'll say
that
it
was
with like
weird,
absolute
whatever
certainty.
that was.
The only thing I think would be weird is if Carter did pass away. He will soon,
Oh,
eventually.
yeah.
I mean, he's close, but will Bill Clinton show up to that? Like, will he be able to show up to it? You know what I mean?
Yes,
You
he
think
will.
so? Even if this
Yeah.
comes out with his name, you think he'll just
Yep.
be like gladly there?
Yeah, it'll be like that was, you know, that had nothing to do with my presidential duties. This is my obligation as a presidential representative. I need to come here and support my fellow presidential.
I would argue that has everything to do with your presidential duties. Like,
I don't.
you're fooling around with little kids and shit, bro.
I mean, Trump didn't show up for Jimmy Carter's wife's funeral.
No.
No, he didn't.
No, he did not. His wife did. But he did not. Right.
Weird.
So
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that people would want to go, but if you're in that hot seat, I mean, Bill Clinton, if he is on the documents, which we think he is, and that's all over the news now, regardless of we already know this to be true, it might not be a good time to go on public. You know, like
Yeah.
let it ride out, let it die down a little bit. Claim that he has the sickness, or claim that he's got the cold and he can't come out.
Because you know there's going to be like independent like journalists
Yeah.
heckling him.
Yep.
Being like,
Oh yeah. for
what are
sure.
you doing here, you graper? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's what
we've
I
seen it
think.
before.
That's what I think, man. So, anyways, we'll see.
It's going to be interesting. This week's
Yeah.
going to be interesting.
or it won't. Like honestly,
Or,
or
I
it
mean,
won't, or just
I don't know.
like we'll hear about it and then they'll just try to push it, and we'll try.
I think it's going to take a little while for people to like go through and digest like who's on it, who's not, like how deep would their involvement go in things. Because you know the names are going to come out, and then they're going to go through all the other documents and find out who was represented in this aspect of everything.
Yeah, I'm more curious just what other names have we not discussed or not heard about that may or may not be on there, and that to me is the most interesting thing, because I do think, conspiracy aside, I do think there's people that we haven't even thought of that could be a part of this. That those ones will be the shockers. Like,
I actually
whoa,
think
what
I
dude.
think I heard that like there was one of the cabinet members for Obama or like one. Fuck, I don't remember what position they had, but it was like an aide to him or something was on the list also.
Yeah.
But it is those names that you don't think of and that you don't even know
Yeah.
that do run things in the background. And you're like,
Yeah.
wait a second. So who is this person?
Yeah.
And it gives you an opportunity to dig on new individuals
Oh.
that you never even knew about.
100%. And I think that might open the floodgates to a new path, if you will. Like, right, you follow that path and you're like, whoa, so they're involved with this company, and all of a sudden, remember that old day where this company is ran by this company, and then, oh my god, it's tied to George Soros, bro. Holy
But-
shit, you know.
The people in the know already knew that their names were going to be disclosed, so they've probably done all the sweeping under
cleanup.
the rugs that they've had to do in order to get this thing
Maybe
released.
as much as they can.
Maybe. I mean, that's kind of why this whole thing is coming out, because they were already given opportunities to try to appeal to keep their names like redacted and everything.
Or is that just for the victims? See, that's where I get confused. I was thinking that it was for everybody, but then I was kind of remembering that I kind of read something that was just for the victims of it, that they were going to try to protect. Because my thing would be, why would you allow somebody to take their name off if they're a guilty party? Like that's not their right anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're guilty, your name can be in public now. But if it's a victim, I think that they should have the right to say, like, I want to keep, anonymous to this whole thing because I'm living my life. I don't want to be associated with this. I don't want people, pestering me.
I think this will cause a lot of outrage amongst the public, especially if his name is on it and he is like tied to 50 different aspects of like actually abusing people.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are going to be like, why the hell has nothing been done yet?
Hopefully. I hope so. But I'm not confident either, honestly.
Well, I don't know if they will, dude.
You don't
I think
so?
they're going to be like,
I'm not confident.
that was a long time ago. Who gives a shit? Like, we're all about Biden now.
Yeah, but I think when it comes to like hurting little kids, I think the general public are all kind of on the same page.
I just feel like the ones that care at all already know that he's a part of this. And, but have looked into it. And like, the other people are just going to say, this is a Trump hit job. Look at the lawyer. Look at this. Like, Trump appointed this guy. Like, this is just a fucking hit job. Like, I can see it already. Like, the Democrats, Republicans too, to be fair, they will defend to the end. That, like, even when you see it blatantly as day that this is wrong, they will still tell you that you're the one in the wrong here, man. Like, this is not what you think it is. Like, this is just a bunch of hoopla. And that's what's going to happen. And then people will forget because something will happen. Something new will happen. And we'll forget about it and move on.
We'll see.
I hope you're right.
I call that this is not like I think this will be a nothing burger, honestly. We'll see. But I think that they've hyped this up to be such like this grandiose revelation that it will be nothing. And you'll have a couple of names. Unless those names, like I said, that we have never heard of get disclosed, and then you find out who these people are.
Well, if anything, I think this will probably kick off. I don't know. I think this will start the ball rolling on actually like going after people.
I agree.
I don't think anything will happen with this, but I think his name being released and connected to all these for sure. And documented evidence, I think that will be like, okay, now they have to go out and do something.
Yeah. Well, now it gives you credence when you talk about it, because when you talked about it before, it's all just speculation theory, conspiracy theory. But now it's just like the Hunter Biden laptop. It's just like the freaking lab made in the lab, Yeah. As soon as some credible source came out and revealed, yes, this is true, everybody talked about it, dude. It was like Waters World, frickin' Hannity, like then, Fox News jumped on it.
The
like
doors
sharks,
open
dude.
At that point, and then it's just they're just gonna keep going, and who else is involved, and who was there while he was doing all this shit. It's gonna be a snowball.
The only thing I'm concerned with is
Congress
the too little, too late vibe. Like, that's what concerns me, because right when kind of things kind of changed with COVID. And we started hearing the murmurs of like, oh boy, this was Chinese, this vaccine was not as good as, that kind of stuff started happening. It was already too late. Everybody was over it. We're almost 4 years removed at this point. And like, everybody like that comes out, and what happens? Who gets held accountable? Is Fauci still talking? Yep. Is he in jail? Nope. Like, nothing happens because we've moved on. We're half a decade now, almost after that. And now everybody's like, yep, it wasn't as good. And lesson learned. And then they move on. And like, that's what I get worried about with this.
The excuse was, well, that's what the science was at that time. And that's the best we have.
I'm just saying, what I'm worried about is that this thing has the same effect, right? Like that stuff will come out and people will be like, I guess he was creepy. And, oh, well, he's not running anymore. Like, he's not in office anymore. Like, he's almost dead. Like, let it be. Let it be. You know what I mean? Because what do you do? Epstein's dead, supposedly, right? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, but I don't know, man.
You get what I'm saying, though, right? Like, there gets a point where, like, we've talked about this in nauseum about, like, how long things take, right? And the frustration with things taking long. The problem with things taking so long to kind of come around, to me, is that it becomes less important in your daily life as it gets older and older. You know, like just like JFK, old, right? And if it came out that so-and-so did something, and it did, I mean, it kind of did, right?
Yeah.
What happened? You know, people are just like, oh, wow. Yeah, government was crappy back then.
Yeah, but
you know,
yeah.
I'm not saying that you're wrong or none of that. I'm just saying like that is my concern, is that we have such a short-minded mentality nowadays that people won't. We will. And I think a lot of people that listen and people that kind of follow the news will care a lot. But I can see the government and the people that are important that should be, you know, making changes and looking at this further, being like, you know, we got some really important things. Like, listen, the economy's crappy. Like, I know this is important, but we're trying to fix the economy. We're trying to get those gas prices down. We got an election season
coming. I think that this could be the start of the things clicking together that could change that trend. Because there's also, it's not only a presidential election this year, it's also an election for everybody else too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they need the evidence to come out in order to talk about further things.
Sure. I agree with that.
If Bill Clinton's on that list, okay, who else is on the list? Like Chris was saying.
Yep.
And then what else, you know, who knew about this?
Yep.
You know, like, did Hillary know about it when she was in office?
But see, here's the problem is she's going to just go, I didn't know. You know, like she has this.
There's documents that come out and then they have like these investigations like they always do.
Well,
like
and not only if documents come out, then now they start searching for other documents. Okay, and now they know what to search for.
When did we start talking about Epstein? Right. I'm just trying to put this in like a field of like
2019.
Sure. Okay. So we're talking, we just hit what? 2024. Okay. Yeah. We're hitting like 4 years, 5 years, 3, 5, you know. Yeah. All these documents have been lingering for a long time. The Epstein case has been going on for a very long time. Okay. Yeah. And we're just now getting to this point. And these might open the door, to be fair to both of you, right? This may open the door for more digging to come and more kind of learning things to happen and more documents to be seen. But what's stopping it from taking another 4 or 5 years? That's what I'm talking about.
I think the presidential election.
You think that's
they've been sitting on this? Yeah, they've been sitting on all this information to have it come out for this year.
But what is
the presidential election?
But let me ask you, for what though? I mean, I understand.
To sway people against Democrats.
Well, but
it's like it's all bait, dude. Like that's what sucks is like you're using people who've been exploited. You have these corrupt people that are sitting there waiting to be punished, and you're using this as presidential bait to get votes.
Dude, if Hillary Clinton was running, I could see your point. But like Biden, for example, or let's say Newsom or anybody, right? They're just going to say, yeah, I mean, listen, every party has its bad apples, man. Like, you know, I'm not Biden. I'm not fucking Clinton.
It would really depend on the Democrat as a whole reaction to this.
Well, what's the reason, like, we're told that Biden won? Because we have to go through the dark to get to the light, right? That bullshit. Like, we have to experience the pain. We have to see how bad the Democrats are at running this. We have to see that they want to destroy America. The flood of immigrants that are coming in through the border, just unchecked, right? Highest in the history last month, 350,000 or some shit.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you have to see all this stuff to persuade you to vote for Trump. That's what this is all about. They're trying to persuade people to vote for Trump. And they've been sitting on this information. This is just my theory.
Yeah.
They have all this stuff just sitting there, and they've been waiting for this year to let it out.
I don't think it sways anybody. I think for me, it proves why I would vote for Trump at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like why I would continue to support him.
Mm-hmm. But why wouldn't it sway it?
Why would it? Because like can we say that we've had bad Republicans? Do we have bad Republicans?
Oh yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
Oh yeah. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to vote for Trump. Right? Like if it was Chris Christie on the ballot, I'd be struggling quite a bit. You know what I'm saying? But we can all recognize that our own party has some really shitty fucking human beings in it.
Yeah.
And
but you've already seen people just dissuaded from voting for Biden. There's like, dude, I'm not voting for Biden.
I know, but Biden has kind of done that to himself. High gas prices, bad economy, right? War, pool, like he's done that to himself. But what Bill Clinton did, okay, and let's say there's some other Democrats on there, but let's not fool ourselves. I'm sure there's Republicans in there too.
Probably.
What that does is that just like, okay, yeah, Bill Clinton was bad. Thank God we didn't vote for Hillary. Right? That's what it would tell most people. Like, God, she was evil. She was bad. She let her husband do this bad shit. But that's not, even if you hate Biden, that's not Biden. You know, he has his own shit. The money laundering, his son, he has his own shit. But if you're a Democrat, what Bill Clinton did on Epstein is not going to sway you from voting Democrat. I don't see how you think that would actually make somebody change their well, I got to be a Republican now. Bill Clinton went on a plane. You know, like that to me is.
I'm not talking more just like Bill Clinton, dude. I'm saying like if they got what they say they got and what everybody thinks and claims that they do have.
Yeah.
Like it's stuff that the whole party, like left and right, right? It's not just Bill Clinton. It's not just Trump. It's like the whole damn party is entwined in these things.
Sure.
Like illegal operations. We'll just put it that way.
Sure.
But it's like, if, you know, like I'm seriously having just internal conflict for voting for Trump now. Why? Because there's things that I have, you know, come to see where I'm just like, dude, I don't know if he's in it for the right thing. You know what I mean?
Well, who is? I mean, let's be real. Like who really is? Like
exactly. And that's what, you know, the whole thing is like, you know, we're being told that Trump is like this guy who's risking it all. He's giving away his life just because he loves America. And it's like, but you see things where he's making money on the side. He's signing deals with his. You know.
Okay, but hold on. Like he has sacrificed a lot, Greg. Like he absolutely has. Like, yes, I'm sure he's making money. He's selling his little like internet cards and shit. You know what I'm saying? And he makes money on his Trump merch. We know that. But like the guy's been in court nonstop. He's been literally like lambasted all over this country nonstop. And we've seen the money. Like he was making how much money before presidency? How much money was he losing after presidency? What is his name? His like Trump's name is the most important thing to Trump. Right. So like, yes, he's got a huge following, but he also has a huge part of the country that before loved him, now hate his guts. Right. So like he has sacrificed. Like, I don't care if he makes money. I don't like it. I don't like seeing NFT cards for $100. I feel like that's a little fucking grab. You know what I'm saying? It's his business. If he wants to do it and people want to purchase it, welcome to capitalism. You know?
Yeah.
But like, what, I mean, is there something specific that like makes you like when you're saying like I'm battling, like what, because I feel like what is good about him is the economy would probably be better. And that's all I care about.
For sure, dude. No, I feel like we're being poked and prodded to vote for Trump. Like he's the only savior. And that's where I'm just like, well, why? Why isn't there anybody else?
Because
you know what I mean? Like,
well, who?
But that's like the whole thing is like, where is everybody? You know, like this whole movement of like the grassroots people to stand up and start doing shit in your local Congress and stuff. Do they not exist? Like, is it that corrupt where we don't have any up and comers that have been in there, you know, for even just the last 4 years? You know, when they're like, dude, I saw what they did to Trump, make me want to start out small. Now I'm the Congress member. Now I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm going to run for president.
Well, I think the problem, dude, is that Trump is such like, I don't know who it was that was just talking about everybody else other than Trump. And he was like, talking about DeSantis specifically. And he's like, if I could have told DeSantis anything, I would have said, don't fucking run. There's no point in you fucking running. Like Trump is going to own this thing with all the shit that's happening. He's going to get the support. He's going to own it. And it's a stupid play to even try to go against it. Right. And now at this point, I could say, yeah, that's at a certain point, you guys know, I was like, DeSantis has momentum. He did have momentum. Then the indictments came and it all shifted to Trump. So it's not that I think that there are bad candidates out there. I just think that those candidates know that this is not their time. Like they're not, it doesn't matter how good they are. They're not beating Trump.
But that's, and that's what concerns me. It's just like, we're all convinced that it is Trump's time. And that's where I'm just like, well, why?
Why does that concern you? I think listen, I actually think that's a positive thing. Like he had a really good 4 years.
There goes my little Funko Pop. It's Chris's head on these things, dude.
Oh, man.
It's just too dang big.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. Look how big that noggin is.
Beard, man. I don't think it's a bad thing to say that like he has the momentum and we had him for 4 years and we can all arguably say that those 4 years were better than we've had in a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like he was good and he's still available to do those things. And especially in a time where the economy is so bad that like we could use a little Trump mojo right now. But like there are people that are just as important. I wonder if it was
artificially inflated though, because our economy has been on this big bubble. I think Trump understands that. But there's a couple things that just I don't understand. You know what I mean? Like he called for the Fed to lower the rate to 0% interest. They did. It's like, well, why would the Fed do that and help Trump boost this economy up? you know?
Well, I think it doesn't benefit them long term, right? Like, I know short term that doesn't seem like a smart move, but if you can get the economy back in shape and you can get people to spend again and take out new loans again and buy more things again because they feel good. We all felt good. We all were like,
they're
damn.
making interest off of the individual person.
We were all making more money. Goods were cheaper. People like businesses that I worked with were happy, dude. They were stoked.
Mm-hmm.
Even the ones that hated Trump were like, yeah, fucking business is good. It's real fucking good. And when business is good and you're feeling good, you buy more and those interest rates come back to them. You know what I'm saying? Eventually they will come back to them and they'll make more money. So like, it's not a weird thing to me to say, oh, well, they dropped the interest rate. Like it was a short term. They already have a ton of money. It was a short term thing to get a long term effect out of it. You know what I mean? That's my opinion.
I just don't know why they did what, you know, Trump said to do. I think
they're in for the money. I think like whatever's going to make them money, whoever it is, Biden, Trump, you name it, right? Like if they see in the future that they're going to make money off of it, I think they'll do whatever they need to. I think they're greedy as fuck. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but listen, I'm not an economist either, so I could be talking out my ass. That's just what my gut feeling tells me. Villains.
No, like Trump. that's just my whole thing is like, you know, I don't know. Cause like, what if Trump disappears? Then what do we do?
Yeah.
You know, like there has to be a plan B or something else to fall back into.
I don't think DeSantis is bad. I know that we look at him now, and I especially look at him because listen, I was saying for a long time that Trump seemed like he was on the downhill, and I love Trump. I have a collection of Trump shit. I really love Trump, right? But I was looking at like, listen, you can see it starting to take its effect. All this shit's taking its effect on Trump. DeSantis was having momentum. He does a good job in Florida. You know what I'm saying? And so like, I don't think DeSantis is bad. I think we've seen his quirks now. And I think we see the weirdness that people talk about. He's very weird. But like Vivek, DeSantis, like those are people that have potential. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not lost without Trump. Like Vivek, especially, I know there's some, you know, controversy there too, but I think that he speaks pretty openly about what he thinks. And I feel like, you know, he's so young that like, there's a list. I don't think there's nobody. I just think that Trump is that somebody right now.
Yeah.
You know, Vivek may be perfect in 10 years. DeSantis may take this loss, which I think he'll have. And depending on where, you know, VP runs or if something else is in the books for him, he might look at this and go, I need to make some changes, right?
That's another thing too. Like when is Trump going to announce who his VP is going to be?
I don't know. I think when the race starts to dwindle down a lot more, you'll hear it.
When the what?
Like people are going to drop out of the race. And I feel like that's when you'll see it. Who do you think's the VP? Right now, just nothing behind it. Just gut feeling.
I don't know. I'm thinking, I don't think he'll choose a woman. I don't think he's like super woke like that. I think he'll just pick the best person that he thinks. But like, who saw Mike Pence ever coming about? You know, it's like, he'll probably just choose some random schmo.
I think he learned from that mistake, honestly. Pence was there to be the supposed like,
the yin to the yang.
Yeah. He was like the level-headed, you know, quote unquote at the time.
I know a lot of people are thinking that somebody posted like a poll on X where they're like, who do you think his VP is going to be? And they listed like 3 people, and one of them was Nikki Haley, which I don't know if he's going to do Nikki Haley.
I don't think so.
She doesn't have a lot of people behind her.
I don't like her at all right now, honestly.
And I forget who the other 2 were, but it was, again, the 2 options. I was like,
it was like Tucker Carlson or something, right?
Oh yeah, Tucker Carlson was one of them.
I don't see that. I mean, it would be interesting. I think Vivek seems very possible, just because you'd have that like lightning rod in your second round. You know what I'm saying? That would push the agenda. And I still think DeSantis is a possibility, man. I really do. As a VP, I still think he could be, because I feel like he needs to get in a position. He's just so awkward and weird. He needs to get into a higher position.
He's a robot.
To learn the ropes a little bit, and then let him run after that and see what happens, right? But yeah, he's robotic, and just the whole high heels thing. It's just like, there's some weird shit. You know what I'm saying? There's some like weird shit with him. You know,
the high heels thing is weird.
It's a weird one. Like
he's freaking weird, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting topic. Wow, we talked a long time on that. But no, I think it's interesting, man. It's going to be wild. And to go back to your point, Greg, like it probably is something for election season. You know, to some extent, I could see it being, but I think it's more of a distraction for election season rather than a push in one way or the other. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to sway anybody, but I think it'll distract people from other things that are happening.
I think it'll sway people depending on how far it gets looked into after the release.
Yeah.
So how long was it before the 2020 race that he announced Pence as his running mate?
I feel like Pence was like announced very late in the game.
You think so?
I think this one's going to be late too, dude. I think I'm calling. I'll give you a specific day. No, I won't go that far. I think it's going to be in July.
When he
Sometime in
announces
July.
a VP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't remember when he announced Pence.
I think it'll be later than July, actually. I think it'll go all the way up. The only reason I feel like he would announce is if the numbers start switching a little bit, like if the polls come down a little bit, or he's starting to lose a tad bit of momentum.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, I'm just hypothetically, if like for some reason something happens and he starts, I think he'll announce because it'll give him a boost, right? The supporters of that, whoever that person is, will definitely boost his numbers. But yeah, I could see it being even later, honestly, than July. Like he's got momentum. Why even say anything?
I don't know.
Keep him guessing.
We'll see, I guess.
I do have a thing I want to talk about though, because I know we got like 10 minutes ish. Michael Jackson, bro.
Oh yeah,
Michael Jackson.
We saw this video.
Yeah, I shared it with you last night, and like, I don't know what the setting is. Okay, it's like some room with a bunch of people sitting in chairs. Some dude's speaking, and he's talking about Jackson. He brings up something that kind of just struck me as like, oh, I never knew that or thought of that. And it kind of has to do with his death, what may have caused it, So if you want to play it real quick, and then I want to break it down because first I was like, I haven't really looked into this. Right? Yeah. So he's going to put it here. I haven't looked. We didn't look into this much. But Chris, you did look on the internet last night when we were talking about it, and you did find some stuff that was interesting about it. So here we go.
Because Michael Jackson was going to enter a bid to buy Marvel Comics.
Whoa.
Michael Jackson was going to become the owner of Marvel Comics. Did you imagine it? Disney would not own Marvel. So in order to stop Mike from buying Marvel, they had to slander his reputation and say he was a pedophile, so he ain't got no business bidding on Marvel. Right. Michael Jackson was on Marvel and the Beatles catalog. Mike was the most gangsterous black man we didn't have. Yep.
Okay.
So who is this guy and how does he know this?
I don't know.
Idea.
Don't care. That's let me hear me out. No, hear me out. I don't know who he is. I don't know why they're all sitting in the room listening to him.
This is a conspiracy theory, Dave.
It is. And I listen.
It's a conspiracy theory.
And you know what? What did I tell you, Chris, last night? I said this is one that I really want Greg to hear because I think that you would have. And this is the kind of conspiracy that I'm all about. You know what I'm saying?
It makes sense, right?
Fuck the Illuminati shit. I mean, listen, it's interesting. Don't get me wrong. There is some very interesting shit, but the bloodletting and all that stuff, whatever. But Michael Jackson, listen, we were just talking about him the other day, which is why I thought it was funny that this popped up. I was telling you guys, I think on the Friday show, or maybe it was even the show before that, I've never felt like Michael Jackson was the pedophile that they claimed him to be. Now, granted, he stayed the night with kids. Yes, very fucking weird. Would not let my kids stay there. That's just me. Wouldn't do it, right? But I think the guy had some like child issues. I think that he felt better around being around kids. I think when you look at Macaulay Culkin and all these other people, who knows? But this man is claiming that Michael Jackson had wanted to purchase Marvel. What I can tell you is Marvel, I'm a nerd a little bit, right? So I like this shit. And that's the other thing that triggered me because it's Marvel, bro. Marvel was struggling in the 90s. Okay, like there was a point in the 90s. I don't remember what exactly.
So he could have got them pretty cheap.
Well, they were filing for bankruptcy or getting ready to file for bankruptcy. Like it wasn't a great time period. Okay, Disney was also struggling a little bit in that era. And if you remember in the 90s, I think it was, I don't remember what year, Disney purchased Marvel, obviously, but they also purchased Star Wars, right? Which you have two very massive franchises, huge franchises that ever since that point, I mean, Disney's making so much money on Marvel and so much money on Star Wars that it really saved. I mean, they have whole, parks after these things now.
Oh, yeah.
So when I was telling Chris about this, I was thinking like, well, shit, we were talking about like Michael Jackson, biggest pop star of all time, right? Like huge success, money, all kinds of shit. And then kind of all of a sudden this stuff started trickling out about him being a pedophile, possibly about him doing things and court cases. And it just really went downhill from there, from that point. And so this man's saying that he actually wanted to buy Marvel previous to Disney, like, and they might have had an offer, who knows. And obviously Disney was, they could see the writing on the wall that if they could get Marvel, they could make buco dollars.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And we know that Michael
How long
Jackson,
was it before, or like after MJ died, that Disney acquired
2 months.
Marvel? 2 months.
Yes. 2
Okay, so see, that
months.
makes it a little bit more.
So that's what we
believable
looked up. So
Ooh.
listen, last night we were talking about it, and I told Chris, I said, you know what? It's just interesting. I haven't looked into it. Let's look it up. We were both searching stuff. He found this article, and it talks about 2 months after Michael Jackson's death, they inked the deal to finalize them buying Marvel, which is
Good.
interesting. And
then it lends more truth to it because his nephew knew about the deal.
yes. So in the
So
comments,
okay, so do you have another
Yes.
video about that?
no, I don't have a
No,
video.
it's not a
We have the
video.
article.
This article's like is quoting Michael Jackson's nephew and
Yeah.
saying he heard Michael talking about buying Marvel.
So
Do you have that pulled up?
yes, we're pulling up right now. So that was the one question in the comments of this video. People were saying this
Huge
guy's
Spider-Man.
full of shit. This is nonsense. He's speaking nothing but like lies. This is bullshit. Like they're trying to make Michael Jackson look better. And there were some people saying like, no, he's spitting facts, bro. So that made me think, okay, it's one of the two, obviously. We find this article. His nephew came out and said, yes, Michael Jackson had serious interest in buying Marvel. Now, originally, and I think this is hilarious, originally Michael Jackson supposedly wanted to do the first Spider-Man movie. He wanted
Wait,
to.
he wanted to be.
He
the
wanted
man?
to. He wanted to
Create it.
and be Spider-Man.
and
Oh dang! Could you imagine? He grabs his crotch as he's
Yes.
spinning his web out.
Yeah, it's the same pose I did, dude. Now, I don't know the validity of that being true or not. However, apparently he did have interest in like funding the first Spider-Man movie. And then Stan Lee had talked to him. And I do know from back in the day that him and Stan Lee did have communications where like, I wouldn't say, I'll say friends, but I don't know to what level. But he had talked to Stan Lee about doing the Spider-Man movie. And Stan said, you need to talk to Marvel, like figure this out.
yeah.
It never obviously happened. But I think of those talks when he went to Marvel, I think that's maybe when he was expressing
gotta get rid
interest
of this
into,
guy.
no,
Yeah.
he was expressing interest to Marvel that, hey, listen, like I'm worth 500 mil. Like, you know, how much is it going to
Chris, look up Michael Jackson Spider-Man and look at these pictures, dude. This is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Some of them are AI generated, and they look.
Yeah. It would be
It's
it would be a weird Spider-Man, bro.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. Nope, it doesn't work.
Look at that.
This one.
There's just some bad pictures there. Oh yeah, look at that. That's
Yeah.
computer animated. That looks legit.
That's
but
weird.
look at some of the other bad ones.
That's weird.
He's like wearing his sunglasses. He's like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's
God.
So
Yeah.
terrible. God.
no. Look at that one where he's slinging between
This one.
the buildings right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all
Look at that.
chin, bro.
Hey, dude.
So here's the thing. Like he had interest. Disney.
He
being
actually
a-
talked to people
Yeah.
about like the people you
Oh my
would
God.
talk to.
Disney is a
You guys.
superpower, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What if he pulled this off and Michael Jackson stars as Spider-Man and as Batman, Trump. Donald
Oh,
Trump
God,
comes in.
dude.
I am Batman. Get the fuck out of my way.
God, dude. I don't know.
Yes.
But here's the thing. If Michael Jackson would have bought Marvel, that would have changed the trajectory of Disney.
Yeah.
Like, who knows if they would have been able to like make as much money, if they would have got themselves out of the hole.
Disney would be as big as it is now.
Yeah, man, because it's a weird one. And so the guy's point ultimately is that because he was a threat to purchase this massive organization,
Disney offed him.
something may have
Well,
happened.
dude, is that what
He didn't say
was he
often.
planning?
He didn't.
He said
Was
that
he
they started
planning on-
slandering him. What's that?
Was he planning on creating like an amusement park on Neverland Ranch? Is that what he wanted to do?
No, I think he just wanted to own it. I think he really liked that thing, like Spider-Man and comic books and that kind of stuff. And I think that he saw an opportunity to
The
purchase
article said he wanted Spider-Man. So he went to Stan Lee and said, I want to buy the rights to Spider-Man.
Mhm.
And he's like, you can't talk to me. You got to go talk to Marvel. So he was going to buy out Marvel for Spider-Man.
it. So he could have the rights to Spider-Man, but he'd have the rights to all of
To
them.
all of it.
Yeah, Stan Lee says Jackson wanted to be Spider-Man before Tobey Maguire.
Yes. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's a little fucking weird.
That is weird.
But I think what's weirder is that he obviously died. We know that he died. And like the situation where when Chris said, well, dude, he died 2 months before they inked the deal. Like, it's a little fucking bizarre.
That is,
like, that's just a coincidental.
That's a little on the money, right?
But that guy also said, like, he would have owned Marvel and the Beatles catalog, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, he purchased the Beatles catalog. And so, like, how much money would he have? I mean, he would be filthy. He was already rich as fuck. And I know. And the other thing that's weird about it, that I haven't mentioned yet, was after his death, the Jackson estate sued Disney and won.
Oh.
They sued Disney because Disney put out a documentary about Michael Jackson using his songs, using video clips, and they made it out to be like it was, supported by the Jackson estate, and they had nothing to do with it, and they sued and won. They got money from it. So it's almost like if you look at like
they're throwing it in their face.
Yeah, if you look at it like, oh, we beat Michael Jackson out on the deal, and then we're gonna slander the fuck out of this motherfucker. Or not even slander, but we're just going to use his shit and make a ton of money also on his name. You know what I mean? Like, it's just,
doesn't that tell you like
dirty.
How much money does Disney have and influence, right?
Oh yeah.
They have, listen, that's the one thing is they're very powerful. We know that their parks make a lot of money, their movies. I mean, listen, we have seen the recent numbers with Disney and the other than Frozen, they have had a string of failures. Pixar's had a couple failures, but the Disney movies have, I mean, especially the live action movies have not done as well. And they went woke as fuck and they're losing money. And you could argue that they didn't have a lot of great new ideas for movies over the past 20 years. And if it wasn't for Avengers and Star Wars movies and the
Mandalorian,
the Mandalorian, I mean, just think of what Grogu and Star Wars and Avengers have done for Disney as far as bringing money back into that business. It is probably the largest thing Disney's ever done.
Oh yeah.
So if they would have lost that, where would Disney even be right now?
If anything,
they'd be scraping right now. In my opinion, they would just be scraping by.
They would be.
And so that's why part of me thinks like, holy fuck, man, that makes a lot of sense. And and what did I say? He's an easy target. Michael Jackson has always looked, that he's kind of feminine.
Yeah.
He's not very outspoken.
Kinda.
Well, I'm trying to be.
Come on now.
I know. Listen, I get it. He is feminine. He's not all that outspoken. He already kind of looks weird and was going through, even if he had vitiligo and all the other things that, made his skin white and he bleached his skin, he looks weird and it's easy target for anybody to go after him. And so like it makes sense that they would start to slander and say that he did all these things. I could see Disney because you're talking about kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd be curious if those kids had worked with Disney before. Have they ever had associations with Disney? They say, hey,
they were told what to say.
We can get you, something here if you help us out here. You know what I'm saying? Like hypothetical, but I'm just saying it's not that shocking. They loved it. They probably loved it because like the guy said, they knew that he would not be able to put a bid in if he came out as a pedophile or people were assuming that he was. That Disney would be like, we're not going to sell this to you. You have all kinds of incriminating shit.
Yeah.
Easy out, right? Even if he had more money than the other company,
So Miss Cupcake says Michael Jackson bought Eminem's catalog after she talked shit about him. After who talked shit about him?
Michael Jackson bought Eminem's catalog after.
Probably he talked.
He talked shit about him.
Okay. Unless Michael Jackson was a she, very feminine.
Well, I mean, you can make a lot. So, side note,
if he's buying Beatles, he's buying Eminem. He's wanting to buy. How much fucking money did that guy actually have?
500. He was worth 500 million.
Michael Jackson,
supposedly, but it could be more or less, and that could be after lawsuits, and he was losing money. Like, who knows? I mean, I think after he died, I think there was a lot of like they needed to sell off a lot of shit because he at that point was in debt almost. But I was watching. It's the same topic here, but I was watching Vanilla Ice.
Oh yeah,
interview, and it was very fascinating. He was talking about Ice Ice Baby, and he's like, "Bro, I still sell 2 to 3 million copies of that song a year." So
he was just playing at the New Year's thing at Trump's thing.
Yeah. Well, no, so
Mar-a-Lago.
So he was talking about how much money he makes, and what was interesting about it was he was saying that like back in the days, like, bro, I'm a Queen fan. I'm a huge Queen fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, always loved him, always will. Fucking Freddie Mercury's one of the greatest singers of all time, right? And he goes, I did use their song. Back in that day, we did use songs and create our own songs. So Ice Ice Baby absolutely was whatever the song is. Fucking, I'm brain farting right now. Absolutely. But
Under
Ice
pressure.
Ice
Under
Baby.
pressure. So Under Pressure.
Oh yeah.
Ding,
Yes.
ding,
right?
ding, ding,
So he said that
ding,
he,
ding, ding,
you know, that
ding,
came out and there started to get some heat about him using it. And, you know, the band members of Queen were kind of like, hey, man, like, what the fuck? So he's like, bro, I just went and I bought it. I bought the fucking song. I bought the rights because they were more than happy to take the 400 million. And he goes, bro, I make so much fucking money. Every time that song plays, I make money on it. Queen doesn't, I do now. Like they got their check, I'm making cash. You know what I mean? And so that's the perk of having the rights to those things.
Yeah.
You know, and let's be real.
Well, that's the same reason why it's always been a Taylor Swift thing back in the day when she didn't
lost
own
all
the
her
rights
shit.
to any of her stuff.
She
That was
lost
a
it all.
huge deal.
Yeah. But how much money would the Jackson estate right now, even after his passing, his kids,
Yeah.
how much money would they be making off of Marvel?
Oh, fuck.
How much fucking money would they make off of Marvel, bro? So much money. So much money. Holy shit.
How much are they making off just the Beatles?
Well,
right now?
okay, to be fair though, probably a good amount, but to be fair, Disney they do have the production company to make these great series, right? Like they do have the animation and they do have the people that can produce the films and stuff. Who knows what Michael Jackson would have done with Marvel? That is to be
Exactly.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you can't own Marvel and then still be like, yeah, you can make these movies, but I'm making all the fucking money.
Exactly. True. Yeah. But he would have been like the middle person that Disney would have had to go through to use them. It's a weird one.
He would have been like the Elon Musk of Marvel.
So now I want to know, did his doctor ever work for Marvel? Did his doctor,
Dude,
the
that
doctor,
was for
Disney.
Disney.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
Disney.
Yeah.
I mean, that
Yeah,
doctor
murked his
may
ass.
have fucking Walt Disney's head in his closet. You know what I'm saying? Like he may be the doctor that froze his head, you know, put him in there.
Or they just gave him money. Disney gave him money to be an assassin.
Yeah, dude, it's a fucking, that one, listen, I actually, that's
And I think that was
super
the same
interested.
doctor. I know it was the same medication that like a lot of those celebrities that
Fentanyl.
died around the same time, like Brittany Murphy was the same shit.
Yeah. Well, and think about this. He was getting ready to go on his biggest tour in a decade.
Mm.
Remember? We saw him.
Yeah, he
and
had
so
that whole movie.
they had to do, in my opinion, they had to do it then because if he would have went on that tour, it would have been the biggest tour. People were I was excited. I was like, I've never seen Jackson. I want to see Michael Jackson, right? So it would have been a massive fucking tour. He would have made a lot of money and people would have been like, I forgot how great Michael Jackson really is. And then he would have got all kinds of support again. And they had to fucking chop those legs off before he got big again. And it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disney's a fucking murderous group of people, dude.
Dude, what
I'm
they
not
are?
saying I won't go to Disney.
It
I'm
wouldn't-
going to.
I mean,
but-
Allegedly. Okay.
yeah, it's a
When you're a company that massive, I wouldn't be surprised if they got some deep skeletons.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Dude,
And not just like getting rid of people. There's probably we've heard the conspiracy
Trafficking.
theories about their fucking parks and all that shit.
Dude, you don't become
Well, they got Club 33, don't they?
something.
Oh yeah.
Tells you everything.
You don't
need to
become
know, bro.
number one without slitting some throats along the way.
Oh yeah.
And so they obviously want to make sure that they hush those throats that were slit so that they still look like the all American Disney Channel. But they were cutting throats, bro.
Oh,
they
yeah.
had to survive. And so I don't blame them, but I want to know who you did it to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to know. If you took out
And see-
Jackson,
well,
I might
see,
have to hold that
that's
against you for
bringing
life.
Bringing it back home to Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, he became number one. So did he have
Yeah.
to slit throats too? I don't know.
Well, yes, he did.
I'm sure he is a brutal businessman for sure.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
I think he
absolutely.
absolutely slit throats, and that's my point. If that's what
You're
you're doing,
fired.
I'm cool, dude. I'm cool with it. Just tell me what you're doing. I want to know. I want to know who else did you take down? You know, I feel like Disney would gladly squash competitors. You know, it's a
Yeah.
weird one. I think it's a fucking weird
It's
story.
weird. That's a good show, guys.
Weird like an anal beard.
Before we bounce real quick, as we're on the intro, what are the odds that they really did that? What do you think? I think it's highly likely, in my opinion.
Dude, I mean, when it
Highly
comes to
likely.
money and owning a franchise like that, fuck yeah. I mean, you're talking like life-changing money. So, yeah.
75 to 85% chance they actually. They
75% chance?
Yeah.
I'm going 98, baby. 98! Woo! They guaranteed
I'm
did
doing
that shit.
75, 85.
Yeah.
There was like,
So what are the
Yeah.
chances, though, that they would have sold it to Michael Jackson? You know, given the whole slander on his name. being a
Marvel?
pedo. Yeah.
well, Disney bought them,
Slim,
so
dude.
they were looking to sell to somebody.
Yeah, but if he was a pedophile and they were trying to play it out that he was,
I mean, before that.
before that, it would have been high chance that he probably could have got it.
What if they were strong-armed by Disney, you know? Like, you better take this.
Fucking Disney,
I
dude.
don't know.
You'll
All
turn
right.
out like Michael Jackson.
Guys, happy fucking New Year's. We hope that you
Yeah.
have the best year you've ever had. Stay
Oh,
free, stay cool, and stay watching us because we're awesome. Go check out and make sure you're following, liking all our shit. You know what I'm saying? check out
all
Patreon.
these little buttons. You see everything. Instagram, YouTube, Apple, all the things down there.
Yes, sir.
Go
Yes,
follow
sir.
us there.
Cheers to you. Cheers to you, Greg.
Cheers
to you, Chris. Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.